Hello and welcome to Super Great Kids Stories, wise tales from storytellers around the world, which will make you laugh and sometimes cry. Recommended for ages 5 to 105. I'm Kim and I love stories. Hello, Super Great Kids. This is the second of 2 stories this week. It's our birthday bonus called The Boy Who Drew Cats. It's from Japan and it's told by Tim Ralphs. We're sharing this story as a little thank you for being loyal listeners as we celebrate our 5th birthday. David, shall we sing happy birthday to the podcast?
Let's do it.
Let's give it a go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Super Great Kids. Happy birthday to you.
Well, I feel better now after that. We started recording the podcast when a lot of children in Britain weren't going to school because of the COVID virus, and we thought it might be helpful to children and families if we shared some of the stories that we love. But we only expected to post the 6 stories which I already had pre-recorded in my little audio treasure box. We didn't know that you were all out there hungry for traditional tales and wanting more. So you kept encouraging us and we kept going and meeting more and more marvellous story listeners and storytellers. Then you spread the word and this family of story fans has grown and grown, a bit like a beanstalk or a magic orange tree. So we found it very heartening that we Super Great Kids storytellers have been able to share what we love with so many people. And it was great to meet some of you at our online show this week with Jason Buck and Amy Douglas. We talked to families from all around the world. Jude in Ireland, Valentine from Argentina, Anna from Cambridge, Dora from Hungary, Jemre from Abu Dhabi, and Nasir from Texas, to name but a few. And I'm looking forward to meeting some more of you at the live show this Saturday in London. It's not a fancy dress party, but if you'd like to dress as your favourite character, feel free, or just come as yourself. Now, just before we start this birthday bonus from Japan, told by Tim Ralphs, here's a little question for you while we have a quick word with the grown-ups. What's the best birthday party you've ever been to? Or maybe the worst one? I remember throwing a surprise birthday party for my friend who's a bit shy and hates to be the centre of attention. It did not go very well. But I also had a memorable party for Theo, my youngest son. The idea was a party in the forest, just letting little boys run around and enjoy the sunshine and the beautiful trees. But as we were driving there with a car full of children, there was a tremendous thunderstorm. I was busily thinking about all the games we could play crammed into a car. But just as we arrived, the rain stopped, the sun poured down on shiny washed leaves, and the trees started steaming and sparkling like a rainforest. It turned out to be the best party ever. Have a think and see if you can come up with a memorable party which you had while we have a quick word with the grown-ups. Ready? Off you go. Hello, Super Great Kids, I'm back. Did you think of a good or bad party and why it was memorable? If you couldn't think of one, maybe you could ask your grown-ups if they can think of one they had when they were younger. Now, last time Tim Ralphs told a story on Super Great Kids Stories, it had a cat in it. And people sent in pictures of cats, lots of pictures of cats, inspired by his story. So, that made Tim decide to do us another cat story in the hope that you'll send in lots more pictures for him to enjoy. One little word of warning. It is a tiny bit scary, but not very scary. It's hovering just under our rating of about 1 scream out of 3. A smidge scary. Are you ready? Paw, paw, claw, claw, story, pounce, out. Over to you, Tim.
Hello, you super great kids. It's Tim Ralphs here with another story for you. This one from Japan. I've got to warn you, though. There is a ghost in the second half of this story. And not just any ghost. It's a monstrous, ghostly rat goblin. A rat the size of a horse. So if I get scared, you'll look after me, won't you? You'll be brave. Oh, thanks. I feel better already. The other thing I should say is that this is a story with a song in it. So if you're the kind of listener that likes to sing along as you listen, hopefully you'll enjoy this one. All right, let's get started. Once upon a time, there was a boy who lived on a farm. And his brothers and sisters and his mum and dad, they were made of tough stuff. They loved working on the farm, whether it was carrying wood or digging ditches or gathering in great baskets of rice, looking after the animals. But the boy, the hero of our story, he didn't really like farm work. What he loved was drawing. And the thing he loved to draw more than anything else in the world was cats. Oh, he loved drawing cats. And as he drew, he would sing to himself. Draw their whiskers, draw their ears, draw their paws and tails too. Drawing cats is what I do. If you told him that he had to sweep out the shed where the animals stayed, well, he'd just take that brush and in the mess on the floor he would make a picture of a cat. If you told him to dig a ditch, well, he would mix some of the mud and some of the water to make a sloppy mess, and then he would use that brown sludge to make a picture of a cat on the side of the road. If you told him to get the fire ready to cook dinner, he would pull out a piece of charcoal and he would draw a cat in black ash on the wall of the house, singing to himself as he did. Draw their whiskers, draw their ears, draw their paws and tails too. Drawing cats is what I do. One day, his mum and his dad sat him down and they said, "Boy, you are our son, but the truth is you're not made of tough stuff. You're not made for the farming life. Maybe it's time that you went to school, got some schooling, some education." And the thing was that back then, in this part of Japan, the only place that you could get any sort of study or schooling was the local monastery. Now, their nearest monastery was on the other side of the mountain from the farm. So the boy, he had to get up early in the morning. And he walked all day, hiked all the way around the mountain, and he got to that monastery late at night. And the monks, they welcomed him in. They gave him some supper of rice and vegetables, a place to sleep. And the next morning, they got him up and they sat him down to teach him lessons. First lesson, how to take a great big solid block of black ink and grind it into a powder. How to mix that powder with water to make liquid ink. How to dip a brush in that ink that you'd made and then put the brush to paper. And when they showed him all this, they left him with a stack of paper to practice his letters, the Japanese letters, the kanji that you might have seen. Well, the thing was, after he'd drawn 1 or 2 letters out, he started to draw cats instead. You knew he was going to do that, didn't you? And so he sang to himself under his breath there in the monastery. Draw their whiskers, draw their ears, draw their paws and tails too. Drawing cats is what I do. Soon he got through all of the paper, and all he'd been doing all day was drawing cats. He went up to the monks. He asked if he could have more paper. They'd never seen a student concentrate so hard or work so hard at practicing letters, so they gave him more and more paper. And on he went. Draw their whiskers, draw their ears, draw their paws and tails too. Drawing cats is what I do. When the bell rang at the end of the day, the monks came over smiling to see what he had written. Oh, dear. 1 piece of paper, 2 pieces of paper, 10, 20, 30. All they could see were his drawings of cats. The next morning, they sat him down and they said, "Listen, we really respect your creativity, but maybe the monastery isn't the right place for you either. Perhaps you should go back to the farm." Well, the boy looked so sad at the monks, they said, "OK, before we send you away, we'll let you have a special meeting with the wisest, oldest monk here, our abbot, and he'll give you some advice, he'll give you a blessing for the journey ahead." Well, they took the boy into the middle of the monastery, and there, sitting on a cushion, was the abbot. His eyes closed, his beard long and white and stuck into his belt, and his face so wrinkled it looked more like a walnut than an ordinary head. Well, the boy waited, and eventually that abbot, he opened one eye, his big bushy eyebrow lifting up, and he said, "Ah, yes, I do have some advice for you to set you on your way. Pay close attention. Stick to small spaces. Stay away from big places." And then he closed his eye, and he settled back. Well, it was almost like he'd gone to sleep, sitting up. And the boy, he had no idea what that advice meant. All he knew was that he'd tried to be a farmer, and that hadn't worked, and he'd tried to study with the monks, and that hadn't worked, and, well, he said his goodbyes, and away he went. Do you think he walked quickly home? No. He dillied and he dallied and he dawdled. By the time that night was coming in, he was still a long way from the farm that was his home. He began to look left and right for somewhere to stay. And now, in that part of the world, you would sometimes find shrines by the side of the road that a traveller could stay in. And what luck! There, in amongst the trees, there was a shrine. And he went in and he cried out, "Hello, is there anyone there?" But it was empty, deserted. Well, that was unusual. His voice was echoing around off the walls. And then he saw that the shrine's walls were smooth and clean and white, that the floor was lovely, neat, polished wood, and that by the door someone had left a bucket of tar. Now, tar is sticky black stuff, and people used to use it. They'd paint it on the thatch of their roofs to make the roof waterproof so the rain wouldn't get in. There was a brush for slapping the tar on the thatched roof, and the boy picked up the sticky brush, and, oh, you know what he did, don't you? He began to draw with the black tar on the walls and on the floor. He drew cats. He drew pouncing cats and playful cats and big cats and little cats. He drew cats with smiley faces, cats with grumpy faces, cats lying on their back with their paws in the air and their bellies up like they wanted them to be rubbed. And he sang, "Draw their whiskers, draw their ears, draw their paws and tails too. Drawing cats is what I do. Oh, draw their whiskers, draw their ears, draw their paws and tails too. Yes, drawing cats is what I do." He drew cats until he'd drawn cats all over every surface of that room. Oh, and when there was no tar left, when there wasn't even a little patch of wall left to draw cats on, he thought, goodness, I should go to bed. It was getting very, very late, and he began to feel quite lonely in the big room of the shrine. It was so echoey, and he remembered what the abbot had told him about staying away from big places and sticking to small spaces. So rather than just falling asleep in the middle of the shrine, he found a little cupboard and he opened it. It was just big enough for him to curl up inside, and he closed the cupboard door with just a little crack open to look out of, and he tried to go to sleep. It was the middle of the night, what they sometimes called the hour of the rat. He didn't know, how could he, that the reason why that shrine was empty, was deserted, that there was no one around, was because it was haunted. Oh yes, people might stop there during the day, but when it got dark, they would all make sure they were safely at home, because in the middle of the night, clouds of smoke would gather, eerie and green, and the smoke would billow and gust, and it would take on a shape. It would transform into the ghost of a great monstrous rat goblin, a rat the size of a horse. And the rat ghost, there in the middle of the shrine, it began to sniff, sniff, because it could smell the sweet, juicy flesh of the boy who was hiding in the cupboard. And the boy, oh dear, he closed the cupboard door tight, and the rat sniff just outside the cupboard. But then the boy heard something else. He heard a sound. Meow. And there was the most enormous sound of battle, of crashing, of calamity, a colossal din, and a hissing and a biting and a clawing. Well, the boy, his heart was racing. He was so scared. Even when the sound fell to silence, even when it was quiet, he stayed there, holding the door of the cupboard shut. And little by little, he relaxed. Little by little, he let out the breath that he'd been holding. Little by little, he was so tired that he even fell asleep. When morning came, when the sun beat down, the people that lived near the shrine, well, they went to visit it again, as they did, to see if anything had happened. And imagine their surprise when they saw on the walls and the floors of the shrine pictures of cats drawn in tar. But every single one of those cats, it had a little bit of green at the corner of its smiling mouth, or a little bit of green on its paws and on its claws. And they realised then, what you've probably already worked out, that the pictures of the cats must have come to life during the night, and that those cats had chased and pounced and nibbled and gobbled that goblin rat all up, and now it was gone. They were free. They gave a great shout, hooray! And that woke up the little boy who was still in the cupboard. Well, he came out. They said, "Are you the one that drew all these cats?" He said, "Yes." And they picked him up and they said, "Please, please stay with us in this shrine. You have saved us." And so he did. He lived in the shrine. Every day they would bring him paper and ink and brushes and colours, and he would draw cats, draw their whiskers, draw their ears, draw their paws and tails too. Drawing cats is what I do. Draw their whiskers, draw their ears, draw their paws and tails too. Drawing cats is what I do. And soon news of this story spread all over Japan, back to the farm where the boy's family lived, back to the monastery where he'd been to study, and beyond, all over Japan. And when people heard about the boy whose drawings of cats had driven away a goblin rat, oh, they wanted to meet him. So travellers and visitors came from all over the land to see the boy. And all his life, for the many, many years that he lived, he spent his time drawing cats and giving them to people who visited the shrine. And with every person who visited, he made sure to sing them his song, all together. Draw their whiskers, draw their ears, draw their paws and tails too. Drawing cats is what I do. Oh, draw their whiskers, draw their ears, draw their paws and tails too. Drawing cats is what I do.
Oh, thank you, Tim, for that brilliant story. I didn't really feel that scared at all. Did you? I love the fact that that boy got to do what he loved doing most, and it probably saved his life. Would you like your drawings to come to life? Maybe stick to drawing cats and not dinosaurs then. Do send us any pictures inspired by that story. Send them to our Facebook page, facebook.com/supergreatkidsstories, or to our website, supergreatkidsstories.com, and Story Owl will reply to you. And thanks to all of you who are subscribing to our podcast. We really appreciate those of you who feel you can support us on Apple or on Patreon. It helps us to pay the storytellers, and it gives you access to all of the Super Great Scary Stories, and depending on your level of subscription, to nearly 60 bonus stories. Plus, you'll get access to our Super Great Kids Stories Express, which cuts straight to the story. Great for listening to stories back to back. Visit our website for more details, supergreatkidsstories.com. That's it for now. Remember, you'll get a discount if you order our Super Great book before it's published in your country, on November the 4th in the US or December the 4th in Australia. And you'll be helping us to get the book noticed and share all those traditional tales with more Super Great Kids. You'll find the discount link in the news section on our website. Keep telling your stories and singing your songs. Have a happy week, and we look forward to seeing some of you at our birthday show in London on Saturday, September the 20th. This podcast was produced by Kim Normanton and David Smith at Wardour Studios in fabulous Fitzrovia in London.